Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. I didn't have any. I didn't have any graphics there for a minute to show if I was even live. Hello. Thank you for clicking on. It is Late Night America. It is the American Doofus channel, and got some things to talk about, some things to think about, as we always do, and. GA from CA. Hi, Lori Arnold, proud Army girlfriend, electronic progression. Hello to all of you. Hello to everybody out there watching. Thank you so very much for doing so. Always greatly appreciated. And as I said, we got some things to think about. I'm going to let you know that tomorrow night I'm going to be live again tomorrow night at midnight. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Admiral Richard E. Byrd and an interesting excerpt from his diary that I kind of came across. And that's one of the things we're going to do tomorrow night. That's called a tease, so that you'll come back tomorrow night, hopefully. And Hot Mess Summer, how are you? Summer, shoot me an email if you would at americandufus, americandufus at gmail.com. I'd really like to set up another conversation with you and at least one other person, if not a couple of other people, just to keep, sadly, to keep in the public mind what goes on with human trafficking, with the suffering and the abuse, and on and on and on. And we don't talk about it enough, so shoot me an email. I'd like to set something up if Sparky is exactly who I was thinking about, GA from CA. And I haven't said anything to Sparky yet, so I didn't want, but yeah, that's, I was thinking maybe Wednesday or Thursday night. So, hello, Rayo, what's up? Hi, Deborah. Hellraiser, what's going on? Okay, Summer, cool. Jungle Jane, hello. And again, tomorrow night, actually, if Sparky happens to come in and we can get it set up for tomorrow night, we'll do it tomorrow night. Hello, Sissy. 420 Granny, what's up? Hello, Glow Lady. Hi, Laura. And have I missed anybody? Is Sassy here? Sassy Pants is here, I'm assuming. Or was that Sissy instead of Sassy? Sassy Pants in the house. Ah, I got you, 420 Granny. All right. Thank you all for being here. Sissy coming in made me think of a story I was going to that she sent me that I didn't pull up, or I did pull up, and then I closed it. And okay, cool. 420 Granny, got you. But basically, Lockheed Martin is expanding in the Alabama area. And the reason they're expanding is for hypersonic missile technology, which basically China and Russia seem to have, and we seem to be having trouble with. So, okay, all right, totally understand that, Summer. Yeah, whenever, we'll set it up and we'll do it. And again, I haven't said anything to Sparky yet, but that's exactly who I was thinking of bringing on. At least those two, if not a couple of other ladies, and possibly, I've got something I want to share that I haven't shared. So, and possibly somebody else wants to come up and talk, So we'll set that up when when we can make everybody available to do that. Um, Me to you. Hello from California. It's so warm. Oh, it's not warm here at all where I'm at. It is cold. Lori, I know Lori Arnold's in here. Lori had a video up early today with snow falling where she's at, and she's um, I don't know, maybe 150 miles north of me. So yeah, it's cold where I'm at, and I'm glad it's warm where you're at. It's warm where both of my daughters and my grandkids are at, so I'm glad of that. Hello, Seagull. Yeah, snow, burr. Um Nurse D, absolutely. Yeah. Um, Hello, Cunning Stunt, and again, hello to everybody. Let's get into the news. I've got a okay. I say let's get into the news, and then I stop myself. Um, I've got a really good interview, and a lot of you that I'm seeing in the chat um, aren't going to know who this is. So I have him explain basically some of the things he's done because um, he's done a lot. Anyway, the guy really knows what he's talking about, and I always learn something. And he's been on the show more than anybody else in the history of the show, and that tells you, you know, it tells you his length of expertise, I guess is a way to put it. His breadth of expertise would probably be anyway. The guy knows what he's talking about. And Chris again has been on here more times than anybody else. Um, he started out as a DC cop, so when January 6th went down, um, he knew what the protocols should have been and what wasn't, and invaluable invaluable source. He's been an invaluable source all the way through. That interview's coming up here soon, and I hope you'll stick around for that. Got a little bit of 1776 stuff, not a whole lot, um, and I'll talk about that too. Hi, Jicky, Deborah, Liberty Bell, hello, and again, Proud Army Girlfriend, hello. There's the ant. The ants are marching. The ants are marching through the chant. Uh, Through the chat, it looks like about 10, 10 across. So some power among the ant patrol. Hello to ant, to all the ant people. Um, I did see Ant put up a video today. Defender of Ants put up a video today that was creative and humorous. Um, and I have seen the 1776 side try to be humorous and try to be creative, and I don't know, it just I, the one guy that does the squeaky voice that it's a one trick pony thing. It's funny like the first couple of times, but then it gets like, okay, yeah, come on. Have you seen what is being done? Anyway, we are ant people. Uh, we are Debo. We are ant people. Okay. Um, Excellent entertainment by Ant Team. Yes, yes, it was. And a massive convoy was exposed. Um, Dr. Justice for All's in here. Hello, Dr. Justice. Paradise Pete. It's cold as hell back east. You headed out in the nick of time. Yes, Ant did. Ant's in the west, where it's a lot warmer, and it's going to snow. I mean, significant amount in the higher elevations of several states across the West. And then at the same time, there's a hurricane coming in because of the amount of warm weather. Anyway, the weather's really messed up. And I'm not going to go into it in depth tonight, but we will talk about it a little bit. Hi, Patricia. Just Joan. Hello, Bunny. Hello, Rum Rose. Hey, BTM Sparky. BTM Sparky, I want to do a show, and I want to have you, and I want to have Summer Dickerson, a Hot Mess Summer. I want to have the two of you come up, and we'll talk and share some things, and maybe have some other people come up. I'm looking at the chat like she can see me when I should be looking at the camera. If when we can work it out. So we need, it doesn't get talked about enough, and I want to make sure people know that your channel's out there, that Summer's channel's out there, that there are channels out there where people can go and listen, if nothing else, and possibly find a community. Telescope. The last show I did was last Thursday with Telescope. I took Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. And Telescope mentioned in there. It mentioned a lot of things. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch that. It's always fun. It's always fun talking with Telescope, and he gets this devilish grin, and you don't know if he's telling you exactly the truth about things, or maybe he's just telling you what he wants you to hear. I mean, incredibly intelligent and incredibly good conversation, I think, anyway. But anyway, during it, he mentioned the fact that one of the positives that has come out has been various communities forming. And so, yeah, I want to do an episode, here relatively soon, drawing attention to BTM Sparky's page and to the work Summer continues to do. And if there's anybody else, that wants to be a part of that particular show, let me know. americandufus@gmail.com. Weed Tifa is often, Weed Tifa is awesome. I hummed it all day. I'm guessing there's a song out called Weed Tifa. Weed Tifa video is awesome. Mountaintop Media. All right. I'm a little behind. Give me some intel here. Who did the Weed Tifa video? Or should I guess? Hi, Jameson. And thank you for becoming a member. Thank everybody that's helping to support the show. It's appreciated. Every nickel and dime. Jerry Garcia. Oh, okay. Sissy's already hooked BTM and Summer up. That's excellent. Can we watch the Weed Tifa song on your show? I'm not sure what the Weed Tifa song is. Somebody help me out with the Weed Tifa song. Tell me who it is, and I'll pull it up. Yes, he should play the Weed Weed Tifa song. Yes, play the song. It's amazing. Okay, who's it by? I'm guessing it's either the Hillbillies, um, the Melons. Who else could it be? Carl, of course. Oh, it's Jerry. It's Jerry. Okay, hold on a second. Let me look that up. Gotcha. You were telling me who it was, and I was being a doofus. Imagine that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's brought up Jerry Garcia. Nothing wrong with the dead. See if that'll bring it up. It did. All right. 5 minutes and 30 seconds, a trip down memory lane. Oh, I have a feeling. Let me get back to the chat here real quick. Is this going to get me in trouble? Am I going to get a copyright strike or anything? Or is Jerry Garcia cool? I played it 15 times today. Well, that tells me I've got to play it. Hi, Casey. Oomph, no, nope. Love you too, BTM Sparky. Nope, what? No, he's not cool, or no, I won't get a copyright. It's good. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Well, then, before I do the news, because in all honesty, we've got some kind of deep stuff tonight. So I got a couple of lighter things in there, but it will be good to start out with something like this, possibly. I have not heard it yet, but keep seeing everyone talking about play it. If you're not monetized, then music is okay. I am monetized. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't hit me with a copyright strike. If he does, I'll remove it. I'll just, I'll have them cut it out, and this will be the only time it's actually shown. So there's a benefit to watching live. Thank you all for being here. We got stuff to talk about, but in the meantime, here we go. Hi, Max Smith. Let's. I like the bass.
Let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. There's a group out there called 76. They claim to be neutral, but they're mostly dicks. Made up of all the last round picks, trying to get by, living off dono clicks. Chud Trooper, I made the song with the looper. Intel Tifa, there's a snooper. They said that you used a bucket for a pooper. They blasted out every time you make a blooper. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. You might be the biggest fucking douchebag yet. So disingenuous to everyone you meet. Insurrectionist loser, try to act so sweet. Taco Joe, watch out where you go. You can't be reading chat when you're driving down the road. You're the only one who's round and you know you're not blending. Chinese massage looking for a happy ending. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? it, chomping on a cigar. Does anyone believe you didn't vandalize your car? No. Big D punched out a tree. He raised a lot of cheddar to pay his legal fees. Now he's out rolling a brand new jalopy. Naughty Aubrey saving him some seconds so sloppy. Mag American, nerd extraordinaire. The bottom of your head is where you keep your hair. Limited abilities, that's your calling card. Looking at your website makes me laugh so hard. Lol, Dave Riddell, the dude's dumb as hell. Every time he makes a move, he takes another L. Dude's a bottom feeder, he's not a salad eater. Doesn't like to be referred to as a pedal cult leader. Let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Screaming Steve, you gotta be a little hoarse. Yelling doesn't make a country change its course. All it does is make you look like more of a freak. People hurry on by, they don't stop to peek. Flopper Josh, you're the Josh who flops. And you also got a hard on for hassling the cops. When you got arrested, all of Twitter cheered. You probably got a rat's nest chilling up in that beard. Golden Chariot versus Judd Mangler. I wanna be Santa Claus, except a little angrier. You made a spin-off when you got the boot. You gotta keep the grift going, gotta stack the loot. Last but not least, it's your girl Corinne. Born again party girl living on the fringe. Just looking for some place to belong, where they don't give a shit about her pussy song. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Tifa. Let's all go and smoke some reefer.
Oh my. 100.5 W. I should have waited, and I really should have waited and did that at the end. I don't know how I'm gonna follow that. Oh my. Jerry Garcia. That's where that came from, and if you've got a sense of humor, it's hilarious. You know, come on now, have a sense of humor. I mean, I was a doll, okay. I'm okay with it. And I'm honored to be a part of the reenactment with dolls. So don't get all, yeah, I almost played it again. Don't get all freaked out if you're mentioned in the song, okay? Have some fun. Oh. Again, I should have started. I should have went through all the news and all the serious stuff. I had no idea what that was going to be. That would be Defender of Ants. Did you look at my notes for tonight? I'm immortalized in doll form. Yeah, it's cool. Wendy Spears, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. That was Weed Tifa by Jerry Garcia. Okay. Weed Tifa. I mean, great bass line, great lyrics, humorous, nice drum loop. Um, yeah, awesome. I've got some lyrics, by the way, um, and I'm being serious about that. To any of the creative music writers out there, I got some lyrics that. Um, Anyway, that's for another show. No, it's not. It's for right now before I get started. I got some lyrics that I wrote in 2016, actually, and they were in the United Kingdom songwriting contest and finished 27th out of 55,000 for a song I wrote. And some of you aren't even going to like the title, but the song is called When the Joker is Trump. And it's all about games, kind of. So yeah, if you're a songwriter, if you're a musical songwriter that can put music to lyrics, reach out and let's do something and become an internet sensation and totally change the way my retirement's going. All right, now let me get serious and start the show. Okay, we're 32 minutes in. It's time to start the show because I've got a great interview with Chris coming up here. Um, so, as we always do, let's start out with breaking news and see what the mainstream media is saying. The top headlines are Trump charged Secret Service exorbitant rates at his hotels. Records indicate that's from the Washington Post. Russia attacks Ukraine with Iranian-made drones being launched from Belarus. So now there are two more countries involved on the side of the rhinoceroses. That's according to the New York Times. The BBC News: the pound rises and borrowing costs fall as Chancellor moves to calm the markets. NBC says Herschel Walker explains the badge he flashed at the Senate debate. He was given an honorary sheriff's badge by his hometown, and he pulled it out at the debate and said he was a sheriff. What to know about Biden's first student loan forgiveness application? That's from the Insider. NPR. DOJ asked for a prison sentence for Steve Bannon. And more than likely he will be sentenced Friday and probably taken directly to jail on Friday. But I think 6 months. They asked for the maximum, and I think it's 6 months. So that's what's going on in some of the mainstream, and I want to touch on. I'm gonna leave Weed Tifa up and play it again at the end. I was saying that like I was telling a producer or a director or something. But anyway, it's a little chaotic tonight. The show is, but that's all right. I want to go to CNN and their breaking news page. And now it's all changed. Kemp Abrams reprise debate. Iran faces a dilemma as children are joining the protests. We said that. We talked about that. Showed a number of them, sadly. I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes ago. So that's been going on for a while, and you'll find that a lot, that stories that pop up in mainstream. We've already talked about it on here because we get directed to look at things. And after you hear the interview with Chris, you'll understand that, I do have some really good contacts. Tomorrow, 3 weeks away from the election, by the way. And if in some areas, it's probably too late to register if you haven't already, but do check. and her rapists were sentenced to life in prison, and now they're free, and she's in hiding. A lot of injustices going on around the world. Um, I want I want to actually take a closer look at one of the stories there that was on CNN real quick, and we're going to balance things out. We're going to take a look at what the Fox headlines are in just a minute as well. But one of the stories that you saw there on CNN was what could happen if an election denier is running elections. Um, what could happen if someone that is in charge of counting the votes that don't believe in the integrity of elections? Because that's going to be the case in a few places, relatively few this time around. But because Secretary of State's coming up for election in some states, in all states, that's who controls the election, Secretary of State. So, as always, just giving you something to think about. What could happen. And as promised, keeping things balanced, we'll take a look at what Fox has up on their screen as far as Fox News breaking news. And actually, Fox News is actually Fox Entertainment. That's how they're listed. That's how they list themselves in order to try to avoid questionable reporting at times. Not that CNN's void of questionable reporting at times, just stating a fact. Their stories are about Gabby and Brian, and about Senate candidates Ghislaine Maxwell, college wrestler hurt in a horrific bear attack. Let's see, what's Tucker say? Tucker Democrats running on denial. I guess that means denying that there was something wrong with the 2020 election. I'm assuming inflation looms large. Okay. James Corden banned. Killer experiment. Okay, we need to look at this. U.S. researchers say they've developed COVID strain with an 80% kill rate. All right, that won't affect the conspiracy theory world in any way, shape, or form, he said with sarcasm in his voice. Biden seems sympathetic to Israel, but his policies create misdirection. Biden administration admits America will face steep energy price hike. Yeah, we're going to... police, guns, voter suppression takes center stage at Abrams Kemp showdown. Democrat governor says COVID state of emergency will end. So that's what's on Fox there, so that we've made sure to keep everything balanced. Now, what wasn't on Fox, what wasn't on CNN, is something that I want you to all think about. Okay, that's what we do on here. We give you things to think about. We don't tell you what to think or how to think. And you're not going to agree with everything. You're not going to disagree with everything. Some things you're going to go, I never thought about it. So thank you for being here. The mighty Mississippi is so low that people are walking to a unique rock formation rarely accessible by foot. This wasn't a headline. This was a minor story in CNN yesterday. In Fortune, the magazine that is all about money and wealth, America's going to shut down if we shut down The Mississippi River's water levels are near record lows, and it's wreaking havoc on one of the U.S.'s most critical supply chains. Okay? Again, this is the magazine that is run by rich people who are telling other rich people, hey, this is getting ready to happen, if you can do something about it, do something about it. And if not, then prepare for it because it's coming. Mississippi, this is Deseret News. Mississippi River faces drought and poses a threat to the U.S. economy. Okay, as I said, no matter what side you're on whatever other issue, you're here, and I thank you for being here. And please consider coming back always. But no matter where you're at in the political spectrum, this is a question that I think all of us need to consider deeply. There was a whole bunch of rain. There's been a whole bunch of rain. We've seen floods. We've seen Memphis flood. We've seen Kentucky flood. We've seen several places east of the Rocky Mountains flood, and yet the Mississippi River is drying up like Lake Mead is drying up. The question, where's all the water going? And I'm being sincere. Where is all the water going? Are companies pumping this water out at such a rate that nature can't keep up? And we're going to all run out of water really, really fast and be caught unaware? It's something to think about. All the rain, it's one thing in the West Coast. There's droughts in the western part of the country. We're totally aware of that. East of the Mississippi, there have been a whole bunch of storms. There's been a lot of rain. In some cases, record amounts of rain. So where'd all the water go? Where did all the water go? Mainstream media is not talking about it, but I hope we start talking about it. Okay. Again, I've got a really good interview coming up here with Chris that I have a feeling that those of you that are relatively new to the channel are going to be like those of you that have been watching for a long time. And as soon as you hear Chris, you're going to, hey, I want, I've got a question. I want to know more. And so, if that is the case, you can always email me, or if you're watching on the replay, drop the question in the comments, and we'll make sure and get it answered. Okay, so hang on just a second, if you would, please. Let me get this set up. Make sure we're not going to have a commercial. Okay, it's not going to let me do that. All right. Okay, here we go. I want to share this with you. There we go. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but alligator rushes out of water, steals the Florida boy's fish.
You got it, buddy.
What is all? Come here. Dad? I'm tired.
It's all right, buddy. Keep going.
I'm tired.
You got it.
Oh,
You got it.
he's a fighter. I think this might have been a big one real time catcher.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Not something you see every day, but I think the kid pretty much kid and the dad together pretty much. Wait a minute, where am I at? Why is this not? There we go. All right. I accidentally deleted it and closed the thing. Never mind. It's a production thing. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. It is late night in America, and we do thank you for watching the American Doofus channel. And let me go back where I was. There we go. All right. Will this let me bring this up? There we go. Okay, this is here for two reasons. Number one, I've been thinking about putting a whiteboard behind me. I need something behind me, as it's been pointed out. And I thought about having a poll of options for what to put behind me. And I thought, okay, whiteboard behind me, I can pre-draw things out and explain if necessary, whatever. But those that follow me on Twitter might have already seen this. For the rest of you, this is the FAFO, and I'm going to scientifically break it down to what this all means. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, the FO axis, FA axis is the y, and the more you FA, the more you FO. It's a linear increase all the way up to 10 and maybe even 11. So the more you FA, the more you FO. All right. Normally, we would look at this equation, and the FA part would be the people in opposition to 1776, and the FO part would be 1776. All right, find out. What if we flipped those around, and this became the FA and this became the FO? It doesn't change anything as far as the graph itself, but what if the 1776 became the FA part, and the find out became those in opposition? Just a theory here, and we're going to talk more about it in just a couple of seconds. I want to bring up one other thing really fast. We touched on this the other night. Department of Justice recommended a 6-month sentence and $200,000 fine for Steve Bannon. And that's the maximum that he can get. We touched on this the other night. Satellite images showing 11 Russian strategic bombers close to the Norwegian border, Tu-160s, Tu-95s, and planes have the capacity to attack targets in the U.S. and all of Europe with nuclear bombs. Okay, yeah. So, the x-axis and the y-axis, the FA and the FO, and before I get to a little bit more of that, there were a lot of people wondering, is there a place in Indiana where 1776 might be that is, that it's more apt that they might be there than anywhere else in Indiana? Yes. Yes, there is. There is Santa Claus, Indiana. A very real, a very legitimate place. And there's all kinds of things to do. Frosty's Fun Center, Holiday World, and Splash and Safari. Really nice amusement park in the area, and it is for real. Okay, so and again, this is humor. I'm not trying to detract from Santa Claus, Indiana, because it is really a nice place to go visit, nice wholesome place, and the only reason I would mention it was 1776 would be because of humor. That's my disclaimer. So, Santa Claus, Indiana, for those that didn't know, really does exist. And I'd recommend going to Splash and Safari, Holiday World and Splash and Safari. It's the only amusement park I think in the country, or one of few, that you don't, once you get there, you don't pay for you don't pay for drinks. Drinks are free all day. It's, they try to make it a real family oriented thing, and that's my job. That was my pitch for the Indiana Tourist Association, Society, or whatever you want to call it. There are some really cool places to see in Indiana, some unique places, and especially in southern Indiana that people aren't really aware of. And Santa Claus is one of the places. And a guy named Jay Cutler, who was a quarterback from, he quarterbacked the Chicago Bears, he quarterbacked the Denver Broncos. I don't know if he went anywhere after the Bears, but Jay Cutler is from Santa Claus, Indiana. So I just glanced over the chat. I don't want to do that just yet because I'm imagining you guys are talking. You guys are talking amongst yourselves, and that's cool. Let me grab a quick drink here, and one more little thing to show you. U.S. and Canada sent armored vehicles and supplies to Haiti, and that's to help fight a gang. This is the view from Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, and the Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Protesters calling for his resignation. And we're going to talk about that. Hopefully, if everything works right and I've done this all correctly, I'm going to be able to bring up my friend Chris. This is Chris right here. Again, Chris was a DC police officer, and I'll just let him tell you. Chris, it has been a long time, man. It's good to have you back on the show.
Great. Yeah. It's been a minute, and thanks a lot for having me back on. It's greatly appreciated, as always.
Okay, before we've got two major things to discuss here.
Oh,
What's
no.
going on in Haiti,
Hold on a second.
and what's going on with
Iran and Russia. And,
why is that not working? Hold on. Why is this not working? What did I do wrong? We can hear him, but we can't see him. Okay, hold on, let me see. All right. Can you all hear him? We'll get to that. we got some new viewers since the last time
All
you
right.
were on. So you own your own international company and specialize in terrorism, counterterrorism. You're our militia expert. You're our expert on anything and everything that goes boom. Uh, give the viewers a little bit of background.
Right. So I started my career at the Metropolitan Police Department, Washington, D.C. After a decade of spending time there, I went on to the international community, worked for Department of State, international, it's called the INL. It's the International Narcotics Law Enforcement. All right. And from there, I went on to DOD as a DOD advisor. I mean, I spent, while I was with the INL as an advisor, I spent my first 2 years in Afghanistan assigned to CJSOTO. That's Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force, where we train, mentor, and advise and assist Afghan National Police, the Afghan local police, and my focus was also it's going to be the National Director of Security. It's kind of like it's in between like their FBI, their domestic and external intelligence agencies. So it's like their FBI and CIA combined together. So I would train, advise, and assist them, but especially on the MOI side, Ministry of the Interior with the Afghan local police and the ANP, the Afghan National Police. My mission specifically was to train them up and then to make them operational. So you train them up and then I take them out on operations, either U.S. led or Afghan led. But either way, I was with them, throughout the entire ordeal for for my 2 years that I was there. I spent that time with them. Then I went on to DOD as an advisor, working on ISAF stop, and I was once again an advisor where we would actually train their police. They're called the secret police, but not really. It's still ANP. But we would teach them how to deter, disrupt, dismantle insurgent cells, all right, using covert law enforcement investigative techniques. So, and then actually our task was really to catch the bomb makers so they couldn't, hurt coalition U.S. and Afghan forces, like V-bids and suicide bombers, and just placing IEDs wherever they need to be placed. So we got away from all of that. And then also from there, I went on to what we call leading a regular warfare consulting firm, which was in fact Central Intelligence Agency. Even though a lot of things say CIA, a lot of things don't say CIA, but they're still
Right.
And I taught what we call human behavior pattern recognition analysis, which is nothing more than behavioral profiling to coalition and U.S. forces. We call it insider threat situational awareness training. And I'm sure your viewers probably might, I don't know if they remember, it's green on blue attacks. This happened back, all the insider threat attacks.
Right.
So we were tasked to go out back to Afghanistan and train like NATO and our U.S. forces on how to prevent those attacks using behavioral profiling. And once I left out of there, I went to Academy Training Center, and that's formerly known as Blackwater. And I went there as a tactics and training specialist. And I was assigned out to AFRICOM, and I trained their Nigerian law enforcement tactical officers. So me spending a lot of time in Africa, in Afghanistan, but not just Nigeria, but also Mali as well.
Right.
So I have a pretty good base knowledge.
Yeah. You know what you're talking about.
Right. And then my own company, and where we focus on regular warfare issues. So as you were talking about, the counterterrorism, counterinsurgency, it's a regular warfare where regular warfare we really deal with populists, non-state actors versus state actors, and them getting control of the populace. All right, because in this type of warfare, which we're getting ready to discuss, the community controls all. So all the stuff that we're seeing in Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, Syria is all regular warfare. Okay, this is where conventional forces don't thrive.
Right.
But guys like people in the special forces community, that's where we thrive.
And just
go ahead.
just to give a clear definition, regular warfare is more what we're seeing in Eastern Europe. Irregular warfare is what we're getting ready to see in many parts of the world.
Right. So conventional warfare is what's going on right now in Ukraine, okay, in Russia. That's what's going on. So your regular warfare stuff, as many times we talked about before, that's going to happen in Africa, like Boko Haram, in Nigeria, and you're dealing with Burkina Faso, Mali, Mozambique, and then right here, which is getting ready to happen in Haiti, because of course this could be armed non-state actors versus state actors, and they're going to get the support of the populace. So
okay, the story we had right before this interview is being aired live tonight was that Canada and the United States are sending heavy equipment into Haiti. So that kind of leads us into what you're getting ready to talk about.
Right. So I saw that as well. Right. And that really isn't helping the situation at all. Okay.
I didn't think it would be.
That's not even a viable option. So they talked about sending the equipment in. They also talked about sending gang experts into Haiti to help the police dismantle the gangs. But my whole thing about that is you have gangs here in the United States, and the same experts can't figure out how to get rid of them. So how are you going to get rid of them down there? That the logic doesn't make sense.
And the gangs are kind of in control of the country.
Right. The gangs are actually in control of Port-au-Prince. So the police right now don't have, they're outmanned and outgunned. Okay. So right now, those gangs are actually, they're the government. All right.
The people trust the gangs more than they trust the government.
Yeah, and that's the thing where the community has delegitimized the government, but legitimized those gangs. Well, what we like to call power brokers or community leaders. They've legitimized them as opposed to legitimizing the government. And I know you already know this, but maybe your audience doesn't. That instability begins and is bad governance is the cause for instability. Okay, so the whole corruption thing, that's the cause for instability. Bad governance. Okay, so out of bad governance, you get you see like these gangs start to form because there's no jobs. The economy's so poor, right? So these gangs actually start to form, but because the government doesn't help the community, these gangs do help the community. So therefore, the community supports the gangs more so than they ever support the government, because the gangs will do more for the community than they'll ever do for the government.
And they're definitely non-traditional actors.
And they're armed non-state actors, right? So the whole thing about this was, even when that earthquake happened in 2021, I'm on this SOCOM, not SOCOM, Southcom. I work. It's like a public affairs type deal, and you have like people from the UN come on, and they talk about the problems there. And I even suggested you have like the World Food Program and all these programs, all the humanitarian programs that were in Haiti at the time. And I said, well, you know what? Right now, I said the police are out. I said the police don't have control of those areas. So I said eventually you're gonna have to start working with these community leaders, power brokers in the area, so you can get your H8 from point A to point B. Like, no, we're gonna work with the police. The police, they have the best knowledge of the area. I'm like, actually, that's true, but these power brokers live in these communities. So don't you think it'd be best for you to work with the people that know the community better than the police? Because
And they control the streets.
right, common
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
The police don't control the streets; the gang members do. So for you to get for you to achieve your objective from point A to point B, you have to work with the people that are in control. The government's no longer in control. So,
Okay, so I'm assuming that United States and Canada, by sending heavy equipment in, we're sending people in to operate that equipment. We're not just going to send the equipment in and say, here, you guys use this, right?
it depends on the equipment. I know that I read an article some time ago. The State Department had sent sent Haiti some armored vehicles before. They might be the same type, so
Okay.
they probably already know how to operate them. But going back on the instability issue, all right?
Okay.
You kind of like have to understand, like, if the UN goes back in with the contingent, all right? They just left there in 2017. So you're going to go back in 5 years later. It's like you do the same thing, but it's like you're going back to the future. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're trying to, it's like repeating the same thing, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity.
Right. So, but the other issues I'm seeing right now is because the Haitian National Police can't get to this one G9 leader. His name is Jimmy Barbecue Cherizet. Okay. They can't get. What they're really going to do is use the UN because they have the bigger guns and the bigger arms to try to get to him and eliminate him.
Cut off the head of the snake.
Try.
But,
right. So, but the whole thing about it is they have to be concerned about the second, third, fourth order effects of things, because the Haitian populace does not want the UN and that contingent to come back.
Yeah, it's still fresh in their memory.
Right. So that's the thing about that. They don't want them back. And if they do come back and they try, to take this guy out, all right, what they're going to do, all right, they might succeed, they might fail. But if they fail, you have to be concerned about what's coming behind that. Okay. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Right?
Right.
This guy might be, to the Haitian government really, really bad, whatever. But what's coming behind it is even worse. And I can go back to Nigeria and Boko Haram, where Yusuf Muhammad was the leader of Boko Haram, and they locked him up. Nigerian security forces locked him up, and they transferred him into, I guess, another custody through security forces, but they killed the guy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They killed the guy. And then Shakal, who was for the longest time the leader of Boko Haram, eventually basically turns loose against them and just goes crazy all over northeast Nigeria. And there's no way in the world they could ever stop him. So I say that to say this is you have to be concerned about the second, third, fourth order effects of things, and the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Because Yusuf Muhammad wasn't nearly as violent as Shakal is, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And I can take that right back to Haiti. Yeah, you think that this guy Jimmy Cherizet is bad, but you don't know what's coming behind it.
Yeah, so, we're hearing that rape is being used as a major weapon in Haiti.
Right. But you know what?
It's terrorism.
Right. Well, see, here's the thing. Sometimes they will use that to garner support, right, from the international community to go back in there. Okay, so we don't know how true that really is.
Exactly. And
right. So
Haiti doesn't have a lot of natural resources as far as attracting international interest. The only way to attract international interest is by humanitarian conditions And you have to have international interest to have money coming in, right?
Right. So Haiti does have natural resources. They have a lot of copper, iridium, and gold mines in Haiti.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah.
There is a reason we are interested in Haiti.
But see those gold mines. I mean, that was kind of reported back in 2012, and that UN contingent was there from 2004 to 2017. So it's not like they don't know that stuff isn't there.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So but with the whole international community helping out with Haiti again, now it's a big money grab for the Haitian politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, they were trying, and I think the last time I spoke about this, I said CARICOM, but it wasn't CARICOM. It was Petro Caribe that actually gave them $2 billion over from 2008 to 2016. Gave them over $2 billion, okay, to rebuild the infrastructure and make Haiti a better place. And the politicians took that money. They said, oh, they misappropriated the money, which means they stole it.
Stole it.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. And then just recently, after that earthquake in 2021, they asked the international community for an additional $2 billion. And I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, okay, so this is the money grab. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now the UN's going back in, and the international community is dumping all this money back into Haiti, which means all those politicians are going to line their pockets.
And
it's
then,
not about people.
Right. They're going to line their pockets and then disappear before the gangs make them disappear. Right. It's always about the money. It's not about the people.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in Haiti right now. And I mean, I talked to our House Committee on Foreign Affairs numerous times about solutions to these problems. And I said, you know what, maybe you need to look into find out what power source, you know, is helping this Jimmy Barbecue Cerizet.
Right.
And cut that power source. So then the community goes looking for someone else, you know, to look up to instead of this guy. That's the problem, right? And then the other thing was I talked about conflict dispute resolution. Right? It's like, you know, maybe you guys need to, you know, talk to the Haitian government about, hey, maybe you need to bring this guy to the table so you can come to some sort of agreement, you know, because the people are suffering, and he's one of the biggest power brokers in Haiti right now, and you don't want to talk to him. All right, he's pretty much the government in Haiti. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk to him. It's like, how does that make any sense? Well, say he's a terrorist. Okay, granted, he's a terrorist. I mean,
it depends on what side you're on, whether he's a terrorist or a freedom fighter.
Exactly, right? And the whole thing about it is, you see him on television, he's talking about, you know, the poverty, and he takes you to shanty towns in Haiti, and it's just, you know, it's really, really bad.
Right.
And he's up there saying, you know, I'm really about the people, you know, the government needs to help out. And he's like, you know, this is really about revolution. I'm like, okay, got it. So with that, you know, they call him a terrorist and all this other stuff. But historically, through revolutions, those leaders have always become statesmen for those respective countries, right?
Right.
We can historically take a look. Even in Haiti in 1804, we look at Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, right? Then we can take a look at Israel, Menachem Begin, and Yitzhak Shamir, who became the 6th or 7th prime ministers of Israel, and they were known as terrorists because they headed up a group called the Irgun, right?
George Washington and the United States.
There we go, right?
Yeah.
And then Mandiba, right? The ANC, right?
Right.
Who else? Yasser Arafat and the PLO.
True.
And then also Robert Mugabe in the 80s in Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, you know, and he turned it into Zimbabwe. But they were all known as terrorists, but they fought for their countries and eventually, beat out those foreign countries or whomever, and eventually became statesmen for their countries. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. Let's because you mentioned the Israeli prime ministers that were revolutionaries before they became prime ministers. Israel is really concerned. Israel is kind of in an undeclared de facto war with Iran. Iran is providing weapons to Russia, and Israel is saying, therefore, Russia is going to become an enemy of Israel. The drones, the Iranian drones, Russia's flying out of Belarus,
Mhm.
and kamikaze drones attacking Kyiv. And we've talked about it before. Isaiah, the biblical connections that seem to be lining up, making the
Oh,
dots pretty easy to connect.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So the whole thing is, we talk about Russia, Iran, Turkey, all lining up.
Right.
Right. I don't know if you've read. I don't know if you read recently where Turkey, they're part of NATO, but I think they're leaving.
They are
And
technically part of NATO, but there's a big question about why they're still part
right,
of NATO. Yeah.
right, and I think they're gonna be leaving. Erdogan said he was gonna leave, and he was aligning himself with Russia and
Right.
Iran. And I'm like, okay, so biblically that would align with uh, 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 Gog and Magog, right? Ezekiel
Mhm.
38, 39, right?
Yeah. I said Isaiah. I meant Ezekiel. My bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, I think people need to follow that as well, right? Because that's really big.
And
Uh,
for those that aren't religious, and poo-poo that connection automatically, keep this in mind as well. China and India have both put out recommendations to their citizens to leave both Ukraine and Russia and return home.
yeah, and that's because it's about to get ugly. I think Putin, he's already started bombing Kyiv,
Right.
and I think, as you know, what he's done before in Grozny and also Aleppo, how he just flattened it
Yeah.
and flattened those two places. I mean, there's a possibility he just might do that in Kiev too,
Yeah.
for as payback for what they did to the bridges. You see, and the
Yeah.
pipeline, right? So
Do you think what do you think happened at the pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline?
it wasn't them that did it. Yeah, I can tell you that right now, because all they have to do is turn a valve to turn that off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what it is, I think it was someone, probably NATO, that did that, right?
Yeah, I kind of think so too, but we can't, that we're assuming we have no information. We're not. Yeah,
I'm only speculating. I'm only speculating.
yeah, we're speculating. That's what we're doing. We're speculating because if that were true, then well, and maybe Russia knows as well, because they moved the bombers. They moved strategic bombers to within 50 miles of Norway. Um, they're using underground parking garages. They're retooling them now to make them fallout shelters in Moscow. It sounds like they're prepping.
Yeah, that's exactly. They're gonna start running nuclear drills, and I don't know when they're gonna strike, but they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
What it is, I don't know. It might, it might be some chemical, something, because they did that in Syria as well.
Right.
So
They never went nuclear in Syria.
no.
They did go chemical.
Right, exactly. So
And so we would assume they'll go chemical first here, more than likely. And if they don't make them succumb, then it's nuclear.
yeah, so
I mean, that's where I'm at.
yeah, I think it'd be like a crescendo. I don't think they're just gonna flat out nuke stuff first. I think they'll just crescendo.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I do,
we're just gonna
unfortunately.
bomb you. We're just gonna bomb you. Okay, well now I'm gonna drop some some gases on you, you know,
Yeah.
and hurt you that way. And if that doesn't hurt you, then we're gonna take it the next step, and the nukes will be the last step. So
Yeah.
um, that's what how I see it. But that's just how I see it. Doesn't mean what
Right. Just because we're speculating doesn't mean it's going to go there, and hopefully it doesn't go there.
Right.
One final thing, I mentioned the drones and
Mhm.
these Iranian kamikaze drones, and a person in Israel told me that Iran's also selling them to Venezuela, and that they can reach the United States from Venezuela. Do you know anything about these drones as far as distance? And
You know what? I really don't know
I
anything
don't
about.
either. I don't either at the moment. But
Right. So I'm pretty sure we have satellite detection.
right,
You
it's a
about
long
that.
way from Venezuela to the United States
Right.
without us knowing it's incoming.
Right. So I think our detection systems are actually pretty good to defeat that type of threat. Um, so I would put my money on the United States
Yeah,
and our defense systems
yeah.
because they're obviously I think they're probably not. I think they are top notch. So I think honestly it's be kind of hard to beat our defense systems. I really do.
Okay. Is there, do you have any concern, just in, we'll probably talk between now and then, but just in case, do you have any concern with um, domestic disputes coming up around the election?
Um, Around the election, I haven't heard a whole lot. I know I've been watching your show on 1776, and um, a lot of these people I don't know.
Okay.
You
Let's
um,
just, okay, all right. We'll just keep everything private between the two of us leading up to all that. And
yeah,
if,
yeah,
if something does happen, then we'll have you back on.
right. Because like I said, a lot of these people talk. A lot of these
Mhm.
people talk, and when it really comes down to it, they're not going to do anything because yeah, you know,
Yeah,
um,
that's my hope.
yeah, they
Because a
people
lot of
talk.
people do talk.
Yeah, people talk a good game, but when it really comes down to it, they're not going to do anything.
Good.
And I've seen that just way too many times.
Okay. You brought up, you watched and you've seen 1776 and all of that. What do you think about all that?
I think it's a bunch of malarkey. I think it's just a way to get people all sized up, all pumped up to do something that they're not going to do.
You think, do you think it's a grift? You think it's all about just bringing money in like everything else seems to be?
Just like you said, about bringing the money in. Get the suckers, right? We'll get the suckers and we'll get the money, and then we're out. So that's how it works.
Always appreciate it, Chris.
It's always a pleasure being on the show, Barry. That's
All right.
greatly appreciated.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, I'll
All
talk
right.
to you, Barry.
Thank
All right.
you.
No worries.
All right. There we go. Yes, that was, we recorded that at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today because, you know, Chris has to work and is not up this late, and he's one that watches on the replay, and I do have the chat going during the replays. So, Chris, we'll see your comments. And again, I think he's an incredibly knowledgeable person, and I always enjoy having him on the show. And we are in tumultuous times, so it had been a while since I had him on. Chris was interesting. Thank you, Levi. I totally agree. Oh, Cunning Stunt, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I had up earlier the X and Y axis graph about the FAFO, and I wanted to kind of end with something. Ant had said there will be a season 5 of all of this, and I'm going to say he's probably right. It will just be nothing like the previous seasons. A lot of it probably will be behind the scenes, so to speak, instead of on the internet. Okay. So I thought it might be fun, just in a humorous way, to think about, what could season 5 be. And I asked Ant earlier if he'd seen my notes, because he said the documentaries. And the first thing I wrote down on my notes, you probably can't see that because of the bright light. Anyway, first thing I wrote down on my notes is season 5, and in quotes, in their own words, end quote. Look who FA'd and FO'd. As I said, think about flipping who the FA and who the FO apply to. The find out always seemed to be the 1776. You mess around, you're gonna find out. What if they have messed around this whole time, or if now that there's not so much a physical online presence of resistance against them, they end up FAing even more, and thinking that nobody's watching, and then they FO. Okay, but back to what I was originally at. In their own words. Is the name of season 5, potentially, as option 1. Again, this is all done with humor, and I have documentaries out as the reason for the potential season. Could be because there is a lot of stuff that has been archived. There are videos that there are people that sit and watch with different monitors everything that's going on, and have been recording everything that's been going on. Even if you might think you deleted this, chances are somebody's got a copy of it. And who knows what's on all of this? Who knows what's in the background? Who knows and there are people going through all of this, because just, not to the same extent, but when the live protesting was happening, and we're watching it live, and it is intense, and we can't imagine how intense it is for those that are actually out there doing it, Lori and Ant and AP, and we get involved, we become involved through them, and perhaps there were things that have missed, is all I'm saying, because there's a lot of footage still out there. So it may come back to in their own words. As in, sometimes your own words come back to bite you. Second thing I wrote down was your day in court as the second option for season 5. And that's basically legal cases. There are a lot of potential legal cases that can come out of all of this. I mean, there were a lot of things that happened that I don't know if accountability has exactly came yet, and will it come? I don't know. I'm not a judge. I'm not, I'm doing this just to give you things to think about. But your day in court as a second option for season 5, because of all the potential for legal cases. For example, AP's been mentioned in the chat, and AP's AP's site got taken down. AP's channel got taken down. AP can say that channel is a source of income, and she's been denied income by false accusations. And most of the time, you're not going to you're going to find out that your video is fair use unless you've got it registered certain ways. Anyway, so everybody, well, okay, the people that really were behind getting her taken down, they don't have anything, so suing is not going to be anything. But they don't have anything but getting them to a deposition to where they say who actually put them up to this, possibly, and those people have something. Well, and those people, they want to hold on to the something they got, so they're going to say, well, this person actually told us to tell them to do this, whether it be true or not. They got to hold on to their thing. I'm just saying, there's a whole lot that can come out of potential legal actions. Number 3 option I thought of was just called exposed, in quotation marks, exposed. And in this one, it's like, the mystery. This is season 5, and it's exposed. We now find out who people really are. Primarily, maybe who the feds are. Are there feds? The other night, again, we had Telescope on the other night. And Telescope said, yeah, I've talked to the feds, and here are what the feds are interested in. And then he gave one of those smiles where it's like, is that really all the feds are interested in? Or is he just saying this in order to, give people enough rope to hang themselves, metaphorically, of course? A lot of people say, don't believe anything Telescope says. Well, I know that's not true, but at the same time, could he have been planting some misinformation just to allow more of the FA part of that graph we talked about, so that they get higher than 7 and maybe all the way up to 11 and then really find out? Again, we're just having some fun here at the end of the show and giving you something to think about. Option number 4, love boat, in quotations. Couples form from opposite sides in what is forbidden love. Probably the most least likely option, but it would make for an easy, a great series ender, but again, probably the absolute least likely option. Number 5, it was always about the insurrection, in quotes. I hope that's not season 5, but I don't think that one needs any explanation. I said one of the David Rydell videos that caught my attention was, he said, I'm going into DC and going to the mall to establish a foothold. And that always stuck with me. A foothold for what? well, a foothold for a potential insurrection. I don't, I'm just giving you things to think about. We're just hypothesizing. Another sad potential season 5 would be Waco. 3, 2, 1. That one. Ugh. But at the same time, something has always struck me again about David Rydell. And I don't have my Bible with me right at the moment. But David Rydell, who is a self-proclaimed preacher, does anyone know where he went to seminary or where he studied or anything like that? Or is it just, go online and pay $25 and I can marry people, because I asked that, and I asked that because I think a lot of people think he's really spiritual, and I'm not judging him as such. I'm just questioning this. He had them swear on a Bible, it was videoed, an allegiance and an oath to him. Okay, he had them swear an oath to him. That's the only reason this Waco could even possibly be an option, but that seemed like a cult-like activity to me, and it also seemed like somebody that's supposed to be a preacher would know that's directly against the Bible, and not only directly against the Bible, directly against Jesus's words himself. And again, I wish I would have brought my Bible back here, but just go to Matthew 5, Matthew 5, 33 to 37. I had it marked out in the book. I've got it marked out in the book. I just left it out in the other room. I believe that's it. Matthew 5, 33 to 37. And you'll find out that Jesus himself says, don't swear an oath to anything, and least of which is to another man. And David Rydell had them all do it. Did he have it did he not know this? And if he didn't know it, why is he preaching? It's just something to think about, because that scripture ends with, anybody that asks you to do any of this, it comes from evil. I'm just saying. Somebody look it up real quick and post that if you would, please. Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 5, 33 to 37. Just because we're giving you something to think about. And if you do happen to follow him because you believe the Christian part of all this, please do some thinking. Okay. Yeah. Because there are people that have no spirituality, or no faith, and who am I to tell them what to do? And that's one part of Christianity. There's been a whole bunch of people telling people what to do and telling them the wrong things to do, and have driven people away from something that used to be a long time ago anyway. Used to be really good. Yes, and the best looking, Siegel. When people say what we want to hear, it's harder to see the lies. That's true. That's true. You're not even supposed to pledge allegiance to the flag. No, you're not. But this, I myself, I've said on here many times, there are those that see the word Christian as a label. I label myself a Christian just like I wear Nike shoes or Adidas or whatever shoes you wear, or just like I have to drive a BMW car or a Ford Pinto or whatever it may be. It's become a brand. Christianity's become a brand that people think, well, if I label myself a Christian, I can get away with a lot of stuff, Um, and there are people that have labeled themselves leaders of Christianity without, I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic, but nonetheless, um, if you really want to know what it takes to be a Christian, um, read the Sermon on the Mount. Just read Jesus's words. Don't pay any attention to the apostles or the epistles and to the, just read Jesus's words. Just look at what Jesus says. And I'm very inclusive. A lot of people are like, well, I'm a Christian, so if you're not a Christian, I've got to hate you. I've got to disassociate with you. I can't listen to you. I can't be a friend. And that's not, none of that's from Jesus. None of that's from Jesus. And being a Christian is about trying to be Christ-like. And Jesus lays it out pretty simply. God laid it out real simple. Here's 10 commandments. And, these are 10 things you shouldn't do. And if you don't do these 10 things, you'll be good. And we can't obey that. And then Jesus gives us a pretty simple Sermon on the Mount. And one of the things he says in the Sermon on the Mount is you don't pray in public. If you pray in public, that's your reward. That's what you get. You get noticed, that somebody notices you're praying. Your prayers aren't heard. Your prayers aren't lifted. Your prayers aren't answered. There is no reward other than your own self-glorification by praying in public. Just think about that for a second. Those aren't my words. Those are Jesus's words in the Sermon on the Mount. I believe that's chapter 3, I believe, in Matthew. Anyway, I get upset. I get upset that people have devalued Christianity, which is something that's important to me. I get upset that people have devalued the American flag, which is something that has always meant a lot to everybody in my family. And I get upset that certain people think they're the only ones that can be patriots. And that's what a lot of all of this is about. Andrew Murray, you're a devout Muslim. I end my programs, a lot of my programs, or I begin a lot of my programs with a namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, salam, and blessings in the name of the Most High, His Son, and the Holy Spirit. And if you're not into any of those things, peace, positive vibrations, and love. We need to be inclusive, not exclusive. In my opinion, there's more than enough hate without it perpetuating through every chance it gets. No, you meant I'm a devout Muslim. No, I've read the Quran, but I'm not a devout Muslim. I'm an actual. You don't hear me talk about it all the time because I try to live it. One of those kind of Christians, not someone that has to tell you how many times I'm a Christian so that you start to question, is he trying to convince me or is he trying to convince himself? And you know what I'm talking about. You hear it. Just saying. Hi, Macaulay. All worn out. Game dev. Thank you all for being here. In case you missed it, I'm going to play Weed Tifa again. This is by Jerry Garr, G-A-R, and then capital CIA. So Jerry Garr, CIA. More Christians need to work on themselves and not worry about others. Yeah, you don't try to take a splinter out of someone else's eye when you got a big giant log in your own eye. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting chapter and verse, obviously. 21 days, midterm elections. Mike Hunt, how are you, buddy? All right. In case you just recently joined us, well, thank you for joining us. And in case you stuck around specifically for this, we're going to do this one more time. Again, it's Jerry, Jerry, G-A-R, and then capital CIA. Incredibly talented music. Great lyrics, funky bass. And, if you're mentioned in the song, okay, I can understand you might be upset about it, but, all it's doing is making you more famous or infamous, again, depending on which side you look at it. But once again, let's hear Weed Tifa.
Let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. There's a group out there called 76. They claim to be neutral, but they're mostly dicks. Made up of all the last round picks, trying to get by, living off dono clicks. Chud Trooper, I made the song with the looper. Intel Tifa, there's a snooper. They said that you used a bug for a pooper. They blast it out every time you make a blooper. Whizzy wig, what you see is what you get. You might be the biggest fucking douchebag yet. So disingenuous to everyone you meet. Insurrectionist loser, try to act so sweet. Taco Joe, watch out where you go. You can't be reading chat when you're driving down the road. You're the only one who's round and you know you're not blending. Chinese massage looking for a happy ending. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer.
Everybody join in there.
Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Oreo, this is what the left does. You like a broken record, if there ever was. Always talking shit, chomping on a cigar. Does anyone believe you didn't vandalize your car? No. Big D punched out a tree. He raised a lot of cheddar to pay his legal fees. Now he's out rolling a brand new jalopy. Naughty Aubrey saving him some seconds so sloppy. Mag America, nerd extraordinaire. The bottom of your head is where you keep your hair. Limited abilities at your calling card. Looking at your website makes me laugh so hard. Lol. Dave Riddell, the dude's dumb as hell. Every time he makes a move, he takes another L. Dude's a bottom feeder. He's not a salad eater. Doesn't like to be referred to as a pedal cult leader. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Screaming Steve, you gotta be a little hoarse. Yelling doesn't make a country change its course. course. All it does is make you look like more of a freak. People hurry on by, they don't stop at the peak. Flopper Josh, you're the Josh who flops. And you also got a hard on for hassling the cops. When you got arrested, all of Twitter cheered. You probably got a rat's nest chilling up in that beard. Golden Chariot versus Judd Mangler. I wanna be Santa Claus, except a little angrier. You made a spin off when you got the boot. You gotta keep the grift going, gotta stack the loot. Last but not least, it's your girl Corinne. Born again party girl living on the fringe. Just looking for some place to belong, where they don't give a shit about her pussy song. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer.
Weed Tifa. Jerry Garcia.
Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa.
And I'm sure you'll want to check that site out and share that video with others. Give him a subscribe. Give him a like. Once again, Jerry, Jerry, Gar, and then capital CIA. Jerry Gar, CIA. All right. Weed Tifa. Again, was not expecting that to start the night or to end the night, but that's some people will like that immensely. Some people will not. But, you know, hey, that's what we do. We give you things to think about, don't tell you what to think or how to think. Got a couple minutes here at the very end. Catfish Exposed, how are you? Okay. Thank you, Jungle Jane. We're going to do tomorrow night. We're going to talk about something really interesting. Again, it's one of those things where some people go, oh my God, that's just absolute horse hockey. And others will go, whoa, I never heard that before. So that's coming up tomorrow night with, we're going to talk about Admiral Byrd. So I hope everybody's well and you're all having a great night. Coming up on 2 hours. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. I always look forward to having Chris on. I'm already looking forward to having him on the next time, and I hope you enjoyed that. I've got a couple of other people that I'm going to have on before too long. How Birds Aren't Real, Herb Peddler. No, not that Admiral Byrd, but I couldn't. There were hundreds and hundreds of people that showed up for a rally to protest birds because birds aren't real. Great parody, great sarcasm, great, lampoon of the times we live in and the cancel culture concept. Anyway. Yeah, don't let nobody bring you down. Birds Aren't Real was hilarious. Lori Arnold. There have been questions about the motives of those that have actually gone out and put put their faces on the cameras and put their lives on hold and put themselves in a position to verbalize what many people were thinking. The motivation for a lot of them have been questioned. Lori Arnold was the real one. She still is the real one, but Lori Arnold's the one that once you hear Lori's story, you understand why Lori's doing what Lori's doing. And she's an incredibly brave woman. I saw the video the other day. Lori, when you picked up the hitchhiker, I was freaking out just a little bit, as many were. I assume that were watching it when it was live. But you read the situation and you knew everything was going to be okay. And the live part of all this is definitely winding down. Lori may be the only, Lori's the queen of content, maybe because she's the only one providing live content. Again, I think season 5 is going to be totally different. It's going to move away. Lori, I hope you take some time and you de-stress and just know that at the moment I'm speaking for hundreds, if not thousands of people that just say well done, that admire your courage. Not everybody's going to agree with everything all the time, but very few people, other than just being buttholes, sorry for saying butthole, very few people, except people that are just trying to be antagonistic, will ever say, I'm not sure why Lori did what she did. I think everybody understands why Lori, or more people than maybe even Lori realize, understands why Lori did what she did and why she will continue to do what she does. But I hope Lori takes a few days down and away from everything and does, re-energize and rejuvenate and recuperate, because you've been in stressful situations for a long time. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. It may sound like that, and I apologize to the chat and to you, Lori, personally. I'm just saying, as somebody that's concerned, you deserve to take however long you need to take just to rejuvenate. No one will ever doubt your passion, and anybody that watches your videos know your passion is not just in protesting. You're passionate about many things, and I personally am glad that I found all this 1776 stuff, and I became acquainted with a lot of people in there, and many of them I am very glad I have become acquainted with, and that includes one Lori Arnold. So yeah, Lori and I are probably, really far distant from each other as far as political leanings and positions, but neither one of us doubt the fact that we are Americans and we love our country, and I hope that more and more people on all sides can start to try to think that way, because democracy is a precarious thing, and democracy taken for granted can easily be lost. Lori is a strong voice for those of us that can't tell our story. Yes. Yes, she is. All right. Thank you, Lori Arnold. Is that an invitation to come visit? Yeah, of course. We'll set something up. I thought we were going to get together last Saturday, and then all of a sudden we find out, Lori's now going to be at the 1776 thing. And you are so far in their heads, girl, that I guarantee you those people, you're in their dreams, if not in their nightmares. And not only you, but maybe more so you, because you're real. You were doing it for real. Taurus, thank you. Thank you. Can confirm democracy is worth rooting for. Absolutely. All right. On that note, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. If you want to contact me, I'll be here tomorrow night at midnight, same bat time, same bat channel. I am Batman. You can email me, americandufus@gmail.com. If you'd like to help support the show, you can become a member. You can Cashapp, $americandufus, all one word. Or you can buy one of my novels in the description below. And actually, I'm going to, I was hoping they would be here by now, but they're not. But very soon, I'm going to have some actual hard copy versions of the novel. They're all the same version, but copies of the novel. And going to try to see if I can't raise a little money for gifts for the grandkids for Christmas coming up over the month of October. See if I can't do something along those lines. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I'll be here tomorrow night at midnight. I hope you will be too. We got a lot of things we'll talk about then, including Admiral Byrd and a very unique part of his diary that was published by his son after his death, and you'll find out tomorrow night why. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other. It's a dark world. Do try to be a light. Try to create some positivity, try to generate some positivity, and remember, what you give out, what you give off, sometimes comes back multiple times over, both good and bad. As always, something to think about. This has been Late Night America on the American Doofus Show, and I greatly thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.